Okay. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to try and spin this as much as I can. I may end up having to go in later and fix the YouTube stuff. But um, note to self, being an infosec and immediately on launching OBS and getting the idea, hey, you can upgrade, to OBS 30 15 minutes before you stream, not a good idea. InfoSec Brian, yeah, let's freaking upgrade. Whoop de freaking do. And I'm getting burned by that right now, and I don't know why. Um, I apologize to Shaq Anatomy for. Let me apologize to Shaq. Sorry about that. All right. Well, everything seems to be working. We'll see how long that lasts. Had all kinds of issues. The NVIDIA thing on the background, the fake background, and whatever. So, yeah, I understand now why one of the tips that streamers are told or they tell people is once it works, don't fuck with it, right? I don't even know if I've got audio. Let me double check. Okay, so I appear to have audio. Everybody can hear me. It's sad that it is. So yeah. Sorry to Shaq Anatomy if I kicked you off. I hope you come back. I hope all my lurker friends come back. I am streaming. We'll figure out how long that lasts for. Um, I don't know what happened. I was getting pixelation on the screen, and OBS was pixelated, and mm, it's if I okay, cool. Thanks, Shaq Anatomy. Yeah, honestly, I shouldn't mess with. I shouldn't update right after I'd been running on OBS 29 and they just released OBS 30 apparently. And like most untested things, I don't know why I decided, hey, now would be a good time to update, but I did. And so I'm right there. Twitch sent me over to another tech streamer doing a pen test stream. Which one was it there, Anatomy? If they're still on when I get done here, we can always drop them right back on there. Let me see. Who am I following? Age of Music is. Oh no, that's Age of Music was on earlier. I thought I saw a couple of other folks like Relax Beats. Let's see who else. Al Hazard was on. Al Hazard's on right now, of course. Yeah, so maybe it was Al Hazard. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've got him in my list of people, in case, I get kicked off again. So, yeah, it's really weird. I'm really not happy with the CyberPower PC. When it works great. When it does what it just did there, a nightmare. So, yeah, shout out to Al Hazard here for just being generally cool. There you go. Shout out to Al Hazard. Yeah. So now I need to get everything back up and running. Cross your fingers. Make sure my browser doesn't crap itself. Yoink. There we go. Okay. Um, let me get some news up so something that we can talk about. Let's see, infosec. Let's see. Um, so Patch Tuesday. Today was Patch Tuesday. So if you haven't had a chance to patch all your things, except unless you're about to go stream, and then don't patch, right? Until Wednesday when you can figure shit out. So yeah, there we go. Um, but yeah. So let me see. What do we got? Lots of vulnerabilities. Critical auth bypass flow in Cloud Director appliance. Um, so anyway, Shaq Anatomy, you and I were talking about detection engineering. Um, what kind of issues do you have in detection engineering? I'm wondering if some of the issues or some of the things that I'm seeing are trending, in terms of things like that. Let me. I'm gonna step away again, see if I can shut my door without things going completely. you have to be quiet when I'm shutting my door, otherwise my cats will come in. 21 vulnerabilities discovered in IT IoT connected routers. All right. I know my browser's not running here. 1 second. There we go. In Black Hat Europe, devices bridging critical machinery with the wider internet are exposed and subject to numerous supply chain induced bugs. That's not much new in many respects. 21 vulnerabilities in a popular brand of industrial router. So which ones are there? 9.6 critical, 3.9 vulnerabilities. Trying to walk the fine line between detecting attacks as quickly as possible and not flooding our analysts with false positives. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, completely understand that. Being able to create proper detections and putting those in so that, like you said, false positives are going to kill you in the long run, because every false positive is time wasted, right? I've I've actually started learning that I shouldn't just, because there's a vulnerability that came out. Here's another story. So let me Control Plus. We'll talk about this one as well. So there was an SSH key lattice. So there's a passive SSH key compromise via lattices. So this is out of UCSD San Diego, which is right down the street from my house here. And they figured out that older keys, which are available on the internet, public keys for certain SSH implementations, can be derived backwards, right? In this paper, we show that RSA key recovery from a single 1.5 PKCS padded faulty signature is possible in SSH and IPsec protocols. There was where did I see that story? Oh, that came from the B-Side San Diego folks. So let me pull that up. The reg.co.uk SSH keys. Yeah. So they said an academic study has shown someone snoop on certain SSH connections and with a bit of luck impersonate the equipment after silently figuring out the private RSA keys. Apparently, it's important to state here that these libraries, OpenSSL and Libra, and thus OpenSSH, are not vulnerable to the key deduction method. There are other SSH implementations out there, like Dropbear or other ones that potentially are vulnerable. And so the PDF that I mentioned, which is not that one. Oh, I actually already had it up. Let's see, where is it? Duplicate. There we go. Now I can go backwards. Let's see, research. Here we go. So yeah, there's a ton of different things out there. This was actually mentioned in, where's the freaking white paper? There it is, right there. There you go. So yeah, going back to the hacker, Thomas Ptacek had mentioned rare targets allows you to recover a host key and impersonate a host. You can't compromise client credentials since client credentials are exchanged after the active secure channel is established. You can impersonate a host, as this attack would allow you to do. You capture client password credentials and drive a forwarded agent. So there's a good bit of discussion about that in Hacker News. So whatever SSH 2.0 SSHD is. So I don't know what that. Let me go see if I can figure it out, because nobody seems to know what that is or which SSH version that is. That libSSH. Okay, so it might be a libSSH vulnerability. I'm using libSSH2 in Windows and trying to connect to a server that is using SSH 2.0 SSHD. This is from 2010. This is a post from 2010. No, I don't think it's libSSH. It'd be nice if I could figure that out. Maybe it's an older implementation of SSH. Maybe it's the original SSH implementation before OpenSSH or the Libra one. But anyway, in certain circumstances, it's not, mind crushingly bad, according to Thomas, that you can impersonate the host and derive, once things are done. So, RSA 1024, I think the white paper said that they had found a bunch of public keys online from older versions of SSH and were able to derive those from older versions. Here you go. The Boffins, which is the researchers, said they scanned the internet and scoured previously collected SSH scan data to measure the prevalence of vulnerable signatures and claimed their data set of 5.2 billion, with a B, billion records covering more than 7 years of observations, which contained 590,000 invalid RSA signatures. Using their lattice key recovery technique, whatever that means, the academics said more than 4,900 of those flawed signatures revealed the factorization of the corresponding RSA public key, which they used to derive the private keys to 189 of those public keys. All right, so this is I don't want to say it's a nothing burger, but so out of 5.2 billion records, 590,000 of them, 5.2 billion, which is less than a percentage, had invalid RSA signatures. Of those 590,000 with invalid RSA signatures, a minuscule amount of those, 4,900 of those, had flawed signatures revealing the factorization of the RSA public key, and then they were able to derive 189 of those 4,900. So we're talking 0.0000, a lot of zeros, percent, right? That they were able to derive the private keys from. Given enough time, they may get all 4,900, but given way more time, they may be able to crack some percentage of the 600,000 invalid RSA signatures. So there's a lot going on with this discussion. It could be that a good majority of these 5.2 billion SSH keys exist on some server somewhere, but a good majority of them may no longer exist. So this is one of those stories where I was like, oh, I should put this in, put this in my work Slack. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't want to have to deal with this at work. It's like, I'm trying to prove that I'm not even trying to prove that there's a problem here. I don't even want to bring awareness to this because it's such a nothing that, we don't need to mention it. It's just not even worth mentioning at this point. Chances of us in our, environment or in your environment having an SSH server with that specific SSH, 2.0 SSHD, if you're using what appears to be an older version of SSH in that case. So this is the J2 SSH Maverick SSH server. So it might still be available if you've got some kind of old Java system that is using that configuration of server. You might want to get rid of it, or figure out how to deprecate that, or change your keys to something else. So J2 SSH Maverick. That sounds familiar. Really familiar. Interesting. So for those of you who didn't see the previous 5 minutes that I was talking on, went to LA this weekend, went to the Chargers game where they sucked. No defense whatsoever for football, U.S. American NFL. And so we went to see Mamma Mia, which was a really, really good show. We saw the San Diego version down here at the Civic Center or Civic Theater, so it was really nice. How's everyone else doing this week so far? It's only Tuesday, but hopefully you're having a good couple days, able to. Oh, okay. So there's a lot of math here involved. So you can go read up on the Stack Exchange crypto version on what a lattice-based attack is. Yeah, there's a lot of math involved with this. Yeah. Oh, there's the paper from Keegan Ryan and them. And contributions. We observed that RSA host key signatures as used in SSH are vulnerable to a rarely applied lattice-based key recovery fault attack. Ethics. We carried out our active network scans following best practices for networks. Okay. Great. Our passive data collection came from 2 network taps at UCSD, University of California, San Diego. Information of the taps and our procedures for protecting sensitive data were developed with assistance from our IRB or internal review board. I think so. Institution Review Board, IRB. And so we took steps to protect users, anonymized IPs and MAC addresses, passively collecting network traffic before storing it. Oh, okay. So our research identified 4 manufacturers susceptible to key recovery attack. We disclosed the issue to Cisco in February and Zixel in March. Both teams investigated promptly, although limitations in the historical scan data made it challenging to identify the software versions that generated the vulnerable. Yeah, Institutional Review Board. Yeah, thanks, Shagnatomy. Appreciate that. So, Cisco concluded that ASA and FTD software introduced a suitable mitigation in 2022 and was investigating mitigations for iOS and iOS XE software. Zixel concluded that the issue had affected their ZLD firmware, versions 3.3 and earlier, which had been end of life for years. At this time, ZLD firmware had begun using OpenSSL, which mitigates the issue. So yeah, older SSH implementations can be derived. So again, another reason to figure out if your end of life stuff is being used or not used, and start those deprecation processes. So, yeah. So if you want some light reading or something to put you to sleep, take a look and read through this. It's probably a good read, but unless you're using something old in your environment, or you have maybe you've got some lab equipment at your house that you're just futzing with. Also sounds like if you're using an older Java-based SSH server, then you have a problem. So enterprise Java grade applications, depending on how often or how long ago you've upgraded your Java stuff, you might want to update that. So the interesting thing was they said it didn't affect IPsec implementations. We were not able to conclude much about IPsec implementations, and we believe this can further study. It didn't say it didn't affect IPsec, which might be some VPN connections, but it would be interesting to see if they continue their research and decide what figure out if that actually affects IPsec, because that'll be, if not older VPN connections, it may actually affect current VPN configurations or appliances, which may have far-reaching effects. Again, another Friday, patch day for Cisco stuff. So I don't even know who these 2 other ones are. Hillstone Networks and Mocana. I don't even know what a Mocana is. DigiCert plus Mocana. Okay. San Jose company focused on embedded system security for industrial controls. Okay, well, in that case, IoT and Internet of Things. So as we've heard from things like Ripple 20, Ripple 20, which was Ripple 20 was the vulnerabilities from way back in the day. We did a couple of shows on this, as a matter of fact. They talked to us about, old devices or devices that get licensed and get licensed and get licensed. And some of these, are made by companies. TCP/IP stacks are built by companies that no longer exist, or they've been acquired and acquired and acquired. So you might want to take a look and see what IoT, if you're working in the oil and gas or industrial control or medical or transportation, you've got some stuff that's about a decade old that you might run SSH to, might be worth a look at to, isolate that from the network. These are all, Could be all embedded devices that have these older SSH implementations. You may not be using them, but the fact that they're there, there's a lot of conditions that need to be met. But again, that's why it's good to have that kind of stuff in place. So, all right. I was reading up about dragons from Dungeons and Dragons. Weird. Oh, okay. So those are some of the pictures from. That's an illustration of a quasar. So, there we go. All right. Going back to our original discussion on IoT routers, again, another industrial router that may have SSH vulnerabilities on it. Here's a 9.6 critical on the CVSS scale and 9 high severity, affecting a brand of operational technology or IoT routers in medical and manufacturing sectors. So yeah, our worlds are colliding with the SSH stuff, and then vulnerabilities here. 7 of the new vulnerabilities lie in internal components on the router. 14 of them derive from open source components, specifically Captive Portal for Wi-Fi networks and an XML processing library. You get cross-site scripting, okay. Denial of service, okay. RCE, of course, unauthorized access and authentication bypass. All right, so these are the 3 that are probably the worst. Cross-site scripting, depending on how bad that is. Viewed another way, these bugs can be grouped into 2 categories. It's either a design flaw, like hard-coded credentials, SSL certs, and so on, because your SSL certs will expire, or how the device handles potentially malicious or malformed input, injecting malicious code or crashing the device. Yep. It would be nice if we had SBOMs, but I think SBOMs are going to be about 20 years in the making. We're still going to have devices, and until people start replacing their industrial IoT stuff, or OT stuff, they probably won't do that. Using only regular scans, the researchers identified 86,000 devices unprotected on the web. And it gets worse. 22,000 of them use default SSL certs. Default SSL certs. Interesting. So those are the ones generated on the device themselves? I guess that would make, yeah. Even aside from the 21 new ones, less than 10% of the 86,000 devices are hardened to already known public vulnerabilities. Less than 10%. So of the 86,000, so roughly 7,000 devices are hardened against already publicly known vulnerabilities. Among those running management interfaces, 80% are end of life, meaning they cannot be patched. Unpatched legacy equipment is common in industrial settings. Right. Yeah, it's hard. That's really hard. Okay, I'm gonna pop this in chat as well. There we go. I guess I should pop on to. I'm probably not streaming this on. Go to YouTube. You see, I have a varied, list of things. Let me see. Go live. See if I'm actually live or not. Probably not. I'll have to download this to the system. Oh, it's taking its sweet time. Come on. Supposedly I'm streaming at 61 frames a second, but I don't know where the hell that's going to. So, yeah, okay. You know what? Until I figure out where that's going, I'm going to stop it. So, I'll just upload this to YouTube later for everybody who can watch the VODs that way. Yeah. So let's see. I really like detection engineering, Shacknatomy. It's interesting. It's almost like the inverse of vulnerability management, where something identifies that there's a problem, but you have to create the ability to find it. So you're like the reverse Nessus or the reverse, vulnerability scanner, and you're more accurate than Nessus and the vulnerability scanners would be, because we've talked about this with Megan Roddy, with Ms. Berlin. The the pyramid of pain, if you will, for detection engineering, has to go there. Um, you have the pyramid of pain, which is, oh yeah, we've got a hash for it or something like that. And then, well, that can be changed with a little white, pyramid of pain. Yeah, there you go. So you've got, hash values, which are trivial, IP addresses, domain names, network host artifacts, tools, and TDPs. So that's the pyramid of pain that Megan and them had talked about. Attack IQ, they use that obviously. Yeah, and I don't mean to trivialize detection engineering as you're the inverse of vulnerability scanners. Like you're not vulnerability scanner. You're a human being. Ideally, you do a better job. You're you know you do a far better job anyway. So, but yeah, it's I and you're only as good as the information you have. Kind of like how it used to be, but um, that's where offensive security folks. The one thing that I've had to rail against at other organizations, including my own work, is you don't create detections for your own red team unless they're actually using proper TTPs or you've implemented TTPs. You detecting your red team, who cares, right? I don't want to say who cares, but it's like, why are you just detecting your red team? That means you can keep your red team out. It doesn't necessarily mean you're making detections that are actually going to be useful in the real world, unless your red team is mature enough to go, okay, we're gonna emulate Slappy Weasel, and we're gonna attempt to get into your network, or um, Ice Ball, Superstorm, or whatever the hell they call themselves, like Microsoft. You really want to create TTPs for real world events, not necessarily your red teams or your pen test firms or what have you. They're great, don't get me wrong. And if you can detect them with your existing stuff, then that's even better. But if you're bringing in a company to do pen tests, making detections for their stuff, you know, um, so, yeah. Let's see. By the way, all my D&D stuff here that I've got on is for my other side project, which I don't know if I should mention it or not. But all right, 100 quarters of profitability, insights from a trender. Okay, that's not good. Go look at threat intel. Sockville hasn't come up with a quiz in a couple of weeks. Can you double check and make sure I haven't missed anything? Oh, that's a shame. Okay. Apparently they got busy. Bridging the gap between TSPs and tech providers. Resecurity takes the stage at Black Hat Mia. Oh, okay. Forrester Way. Yeah. Man, there's just not a lot going on right now that isn't, thinly veiled product stuff. So, oh no. Ransomed VC to shut down operations and selling out infrastructure. Ransomed.vc, a notorious ransomware and data extortion group, has recently announced the end of its operations and auction of its entire cybercrime infrastructure. See, this is good news. This is the kind of good news I like to see. On October 30th, the Telegram channel of the org was made public. One of the group's leaked messages was currently been shut down, and while the other site has a goodbye message, the ransomware forum is still available online. This suggests a deliberate attempt to sell off the group's assets. According to ZeroFox, Ransomed.vc has victimized 40 organizations since August of 2023, 60% of them being based in Europe. Shutdown seems to be a genuine cessation, with potential buyers interested in the group's infrastructure for various malicious purposes. You know, I when they say infrastructure, are they meaning by they're going to hand over access to their already owned servers at other companies, or what? So the sale package includes So the sale package includes the domains and its dark web forum, stealthy ransomware builder, source code, access to affiliate groups, social media accounts, Telegram channel, a VPN act. Okay, so for sale, one slightly dented ransomware company, uh, and you get VPN access for 11 companies. Okay, so there you go. I think that would be the big haul if you wanted VPN access to 11 companies with a combined revenue of $3 billion and 37 databases and a control panel for the ransomware locker. So possible arrests. Yeah, that would definitely cause a sale of the company if some people got owned up, right? 6 individuals linked to ransomed.vc. So one or two people who are in part of ransomed.vc is trying to GTFO before the fuzz hits them. So post blame the arrests on poor OPSEC and lack of experience. Oh, yep. Well, you burn out quickly. What do they say? Something about burning out the brightest, burn out quickest, or something like that. Yeah. Limited impact on the ransomware landscape. Right. Closures are unlikely to have significant impact on ransomware and data extortion threat landscape. It's got to hurt, right? You're thinking, everybody wants your stuff, but you're not that big a deal. Don't get me wrong. You probably sunk a lot of time and effort into making this stuff, but when all's said and done, you just don't matter. You're going to be replaced by yet another group, or you're Bush League compared to the Ryuks and the nation state folk. So it's unfortunate, really. Recommendations for mitigating risks. Okay, yeah, whatever. Cybersecurity news. Zero trust, something. Oh, hey, let me. Okay, you can read everything up until the last, recommendations for mitigating risks, and then they want you to buy fucking some zero trust stuff. So. So let me see if there's been any update on Mr. Cooper. So for those of you who don't remember, I think last week I had mentioned they had been breached. Application breach. Oh, well, that didn't take long. They've been hit with a class action over their cyber attack. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh about that. Yeah, so November 3rd, yes. Has there been any updates since November 3rd? Doesn't look like it. Go back a little bit. Got hit with a class action 1 day ago. Okay, so, okay, so according to this person, customer data was compromised in the Halloween attack, October 31st. They promise compromised in part of the attack. Hackers gained access to certain Mr. Cooper's systems. The company promptly shut down. This also prevented the company from processing customer payments. They've restored their phone systems and website, which enables users to access accounts, but has yet to fully restore operations. As of a November 12th update, here we go. Our team took immediate steps, locked down the system. Part of our ongoing investigation, we believe customer data was exposed. We're continuing to investigate precisely what information was exposed. In the coming weeks, we'll mail notices to any affected customer, provide them complimentary. Okay, good. Free credit monitoring. Sweet. Till that time, it's always advisable to monitor your financial accounts and credit reports for unauthorized activity. Why? Because they're a mortgage and loan company, which means they have all of your information, all of it, including social security numbers, date of birth, addresses, bank history, bank transaction information. Tons of stuff. They just owned you up left and right. So there you go. Be mindful not to use the same password across multiple accounts. So they already assume that anybody who's logging into Mr. Cooper's site is going to be reusing those passwords across multiple sites. You should update your passwords frequently, and you should contact the 3 credit bureaus. Place a fraud alert on your file at no cost. I seem to remember when Experian, I think they said that you could put a credit a fraud alert on your account, but it wasn't 100% possible to, actually, you can actually have you can actually remove the fraud alert. Bad guys could go in and just, remove your fraud alert if they had something on there. Will my rate lock be honored? Yes, your rates and fees will not be impacted by this incident. We were talking about this on our Slack. I was like, why don't we see more Robinhood kind of stuff where it's like you've got somebody who's got a cybersecurity incident like Mr. Cooper. Um, why don't we see, we see it in movies where it's like, somebody hacked into a financial institution and wiped all the records. So it's like, everybody's, free and clear on their loans. In the real world, obviously it doesn't work, but why don't we see more of that? You know, um, we don't see the Robin Hood kind of thing. We see more of the, borrowing the information. So it's unfortunate, really, because there's a lot of loans out there, a lot of student loans from different organizations that, you know, I don't condone that. By the way, I don't condone the Robin Hood thing. By the way, I just want to make sure that I don't want black helicopters coming after me. I'm surprised we don't see people going in and going like, okay, all student debt's been wiped out at Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or whatever the hell they call themselves. Um, this suggests personally identifiable information, including social security numbers, likely compromising the attack. Duh. Might also mean that they're not storing that stuff in a proper way. It's unfortunate, really. All right. Okay, including lag. Okay. Everything seems to be more stable now after I did a hard shutdown and I, banged on the screen a little bit. So, let me see. Ongoing exploitation. Oh, of 22518. Okay, so Confluence last week, we mentioned the Confluence issue. 22518 is being actively exploited by nation state actors. Cerber ransomware variants are targeting both Windows and Linux hosts. If you are not using the cloud version of Jira and Atlassian products, you should have already patched your stuff, especially, well, if you're on the internet already and you haven't patched your Confluence servers against 22518, you're probably already owned. You just don't know it yet. And you should probably go look. Or not look in this case, probably just nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. It's the only way to make sure that you know for a fact that you're okay. Just, format C:\\/U, yeah, unconditional format, RM-RF, it's the only way to, make sure that you're not vulnerable anymore from any Atlassian thing exposed to the internet. By the way, I shouldn't have to tell people this, but I probably should put a disclaimer in that, don't do what I just did or said to do. Just don't do that. So yeah, they have 5,700 exposed internet. Some of those I'm hoping are honeypots, like detection engineering, like Shacknatomy. I would definitely be standing up a honeypot to be able to see what the indicators of compromise or TTPs are for Atlassian or Jira instances. This would make a very attractive target for a honeypot or something like that to be used by these actors, especially if it's a super out of date Atlassian version. It'd be like flies on shit. It'd be like, well, your honeypot would be shit, but yeah. So yeah, evidence of compromise may include loss of login access to the instance, requests to JSON setup restore in the network access log. So yeah, there you go. You got some logs mentioning setup restore. Hopefully those things should never be used once it's been initially set up. So if you're seeing those things in your logs, you shouldn't, that should be a big, big flag, big red flag. Installed unknown plugins. So if you got new plugins being installed, that's assuming you've got control over your Confluence instance and you're not just allowing everybody in your organization to just install plugins whenever and wherever. especially something called web. Oh my God. They're brash enough to call it web.shell.plugin. I mean, Jesus. It's like, what would it be like? Ransomware.happy.plugin or something like that. It's like, okay. Encrypted files or corrupted data, obviously. Unexpected new members to the Confluence administrator. Yeah, who's uh, some guy named Cerberus. Okay, that sounds legit. Any newly created user accounts. That one would be, I think they probably put that one last because that would probably be the most difficult, especially if like a big organization, you're going to have people constantly coming in and out or being added to a project or removed from projects. You probably shouldn't, you should have another way or another process to track new users if that's possible. If any evidence is found, you should assume your instance has been compromised and follow your security incident response plan. Yep. The appearance of the malicious plugin has been noted in Atlassian's community forum. Let's see what other posts we've got from these folks. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my God. Hello, Michael. Hey, Michael. Oh my God. Oh God, that sucks. Oh my Jesus. Yeah, it seems like it might be malware. Yeah, possibly. It's not a free plugin. I just disabled it. Mm. Oh, yes, it has there, Michael. Yes. 4 answers, 1 accepted. I just checked the audit logging admin console. There's some unusual permission added records in the log. Oh God. Well, the good thing is Michael is doing his due diligence, asking the question. That's damn. Mm-mm-mm. We were attacked last Friday. Oh, November 3rd. Okay. Confluence was 852 since week 1, upgraded from 7. Wait. So he's upgrading to 8.34, but there's already 8.5 out. Oh my God. I have a feeling this website and this community website would make my brain hurt by going in here and looking at some of this stuff. Hello, Michael. Yes, it was an attack, and from the look at it, a successful one. So you should probably get in touch with Atlassian support as soon as possible. Ouch. More than just a security issue, Michael Gates. I doubt that that's going to help, but yeah, you can try uninstalling your web shell functions. No, Michael Gates. It's not a normal plugin providing web shell function. No. Yeah, but it was installed by the hacker. Okay, so it's a normal plugin for web shell functions, but I'm going to uninstall it because it was installed by a bad guy. I'm sorry, the Schadenfreude is just killing me here with this. I'm just vendor. Okay, co-rat. Okay. So if I was in an anime right now, I would be that guy who's like falling over and his nose is, running and it's like, "Arr!" I'd be that guy. So, oh my God. It makes my brain hurt. It makes my brain hurt. One second. What do you want? I'm streaming here. What do you want? Come here. Yeah, come on. All right. Well, you've already made your presence known, so you might as well get up here. No. Yes, I'm gonna make your presence known. Yeah. What? No. See? That's my mama kitty. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have a good day? No? Oh, you're gonna go now? What's up? Oh, my goodness. What? Meh. They can't see you on the camera. You're too short. You probably need to get a phone book or something. Maybe the Greater Los Angeles phone book will help you get up closer to the camera. Meh. Okay. Oh, see your tape. Oh, there we go. um, so yeah, that's unfortunate. So they yep. hmm Streaming and longer context links for LLMs. What? Why don't you get up here? Come on, pet you. There we go. All right. Hey, buddy. Oh, it's just a big party up in my office. My chunky boy's down here too. All right. Let's see. Well, that's not machine learning frameworks. Okay. Oh, Ducktail malware targets the fashion industry. Ah, yes, the mutt of the duck world, the mallard. Ducktail is targeting marketing professionals in the fashion industry with its latest campaign, where the threat actors send out archives containing images of authentic products from well-known companies alongside a maliciously executable camouflaged PDF. Oh no, from well-known companies alongside a malicious executable camouflaged as a PDF. Okay. According to a report from Kaspersky, the malware opens a genuine embedded PDF detailing job information with the attack crafted to appeal to marketing professionals seeking career changes. Oh, that's yeah. Duck butt. Um, that's unfortunate. Yeah, they're preying upon people looking for other jobs. It's a malware family been active since the second half of 2021 and aims to steal Facebook business accounts. These two companies have uncovered ducktail attacks. The info stealer spread under the guise of documents relating to well-known companies and brands, projects, and products. Both public reports attribute the ducktail attacks to a group that hails from Vietnam. We've analyzed a recent campaign that ran between March and early October and targeted marketing professionals. Which, they're used to already opening files. They're not thinking about bad guys. Um, if you're working at a company and actively looking for another place, you're probably doing it on your work PCs. So you're going to get access to all kinds of stuff from the current business. An important feature that sets it apart is that unlike in previous programs which relied on .NET applications, this one used Delphi as the programming language. That's interesting. That's an older language. I guess if it works, it doesn't matter. So here's the PDF. So you've got legitimate products. You've got a nice MP4. You've got two JPEGs, and you've got a PDF, which is actually an exe file with the PDF icon. So you double click on it, something probably runs. Yeah. Opened by a victim, the malicious file serves a PowerShell script named param.ps1 and a PDF decoy locally to user public. Okay. Script uses default PDF reader on the device to open the decoy, pauses for 5 minutes, and then terminates the Chrome browser process. Oh. Interesting. Okay. When launched, the library goes over every LNK file that it finds in these directories on the desktop, altering the launch string for all Chromium-based browsers and adding the following code. Which, there you go, load extension users, username, app data, local Google Chrome user, and then that big long, there you go, sorry. Let's get some 80-point font on here. So there's it looks like a library string, or some of the library strings required for malicious code or to run are encrypted with the CBC key, all right, and the initialization vector, all right. So they've reverse engineered it and they found the key and the initialization vector. So those are the keys. In addition to launching the library, the parent file serves malicious browser extension files. Okay, so this is an extension, very similar to how the web.shell.plugin in Jira is. This is an online or offline version. So let's see. While the directory that features the path, so this is where the plugin would be, is used by the bona fide extension NordVPN, it is worth noting that other variants of the malware use different paths to host the extension. So the malicious extension is the one on the left here, Google Docs Online. So this one here, 1.62.0. And then the actual authentic Google Online is 1.69.2. Okay. Core exception script is obfuscated. It constantly sends details of all open browser tabs to CNC server. And if detecting Facebook related URLs, it will check for ads and business accounts to try and steal them, including their cookies, right? Their cookies and session data and details of the account the victim is signed onto in the device. So, they're also bypassing two-factor. The extension uses Facebook API requests and Vietnam's 2FA.live service. Okay, which offers various auxiliaries for generating one-time OTP, so one-time access codes, amongst other things. This is probably how the hackers log in after the user's authentication session is expired. Stolen creds and cookies are forwarded to the CNC server registered in Vietnam. That's too bad. Here's your attack matrix technique IDs that it uses. Spear phishing attachment, right? Browser extensions, right? Okay, so the way they've filled this out, it kind of makes sense in terms of being able to figure out the different things. Stealing web session cookies, malicious files, gathering victim identity, phishing for information, right? Exfiltration over C2 and data encoding. All right. Get for kissing my cats. Indicators of compromise. So there's a bunch of hashes. Of course, if you're threat engineering, you'll want to use something else like, looking up these specific CNC servers or, other, look for attachments or, you may look for this, something where, a malicious application or malicious plugin, if you've got enough management on your endpoints, to look for new, attachments or new extensions that are being added to your browsers. I believe you can watch for that in your logs, like, we've installed a new extension in Google, that kind of thing. So, all right. 2FA Live, additional script jQuery 3.3.1.min.js is saved to the extension folder, which is a corrupted version of the core script from previous attacks. New threat actors have taken a new approach by leveraging Delphi, departing from the original approach. I wonder why. Use of Delphi creates detection challenges. Oh, there you go. As the language's uncommon signature-based antivirus protections may miss this threat. Huh. Delphi is a detection challenge. They should also refrain from entering credentials into third-party extensions. Yeah, okay, sure. That's valid. It's valid advice, but nobody's going to follow it. So. Providing a password manager also strengthens account security against password reuse across compromised accounts. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. I guess it makes sense. So. Oh. Yeah, I read about this. They're actually doing banking by USB stick. So ICBC, which is International and Commercial Bank of China, hit by cyber attack. I wonder who did that. North Korea? Let's see. Details of the attack emerged. Employees at Beijing headquarters held urgent meetings with the lender's U.S. division. Oh, so was the attack in the U.S.? Okay, so their U.S. unit. So the U.S. bank version of Bank of China. Boy, that's complicated, isn't it? Rendering it unable to clear swaths of U.S. Treasury trades after entities responsible for settling the transactions swiftly disconnected from the stricken systems. That forced the Bank of China to send required settlement details to those parties by messenger carrying a thumb drive. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. All right. The workaround described by market participants followed the attack by suspected perpetrator Lockbit. Okay. Prolific gang with ties to Russia that also hit Boeing, Ion Trading, and UK Royal Mail. All right. Strike caused immediate disruptions as market makers, brokerages, and banks were forced to reroute trades, with many uncertain when access would resume. Hmm. Dang. I was going to say I don't think China is attacking their own companies, so it had to be somebody other than China. World largest lender by assets has been improving its cybersecurity in the recent months, highlighting increased challenges from potential attacks amid the expansion of online transactions. Hmm. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, so for all my lurker friends out there, um, anything you want to talk about? I'm open and available for questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to talk about. I'm thinking I probably need to get off here because we need to go to dinner. I wish I'd had more time with you, but I had some technical issues. So I'll be back on Friday though. We're going to be doing some more Rust, the Rust OS blog, Rust OS. So we are continuing on through this. I think we got to the testing mode. I got us all the way down to, where was it? Printing to the console. I think we got all the way to that point in the show, or on the blog post, and it's a fairly meaty topic. So I mean, I'm looking at the scroll bar here, and we're, I would say, about a fourth of the way down through this. So we've got a lot to go through to get to, including integration tests, like quite a few integration tests here. And then we get to the summary, right? And then we'll explore CPU exceptions after that, but I don't know if we're actually going to get through all of that before the end of the chapter. So we'll see what happens. But there's a ton of comments as well. So all right, well, I'm going to go. Thanks to Shacknatomy for coming and hanging out with me today. I appreciate the support through Amazon Prime Gaming, which, I get money. Shacknatomy didn't have to pay because he's an Amazon Prime member. So thank you so much for that, for your support, Shacknatomy. And keep fighting the good fight. Detection engineering is not an easy job. So I have a lot of respect for those folks. So, all right, I'm going to go. Have a great day, the rest of your week, and I'll see you on Friday. And talk soon. All right. Bye, everybody.